It's fair to say that Finalmouse is one of the most clouted peripheral manufacturers in the world.
The Ninja Air 58 Finalmouse. Literally, it's like 58 grams. This thing is like the lightest mouse on the market.
Finalmouse don't just produce gaming mice. They make exclusive works of art that only a handful of gamers can even dream of getting their hands on.
I know this is kind of sound like a douchebag thing to say, but these are real diamonds.
And this past year, Finalmouse decided to partner with not only the face of Sentinels VALORANT roster, but one of the most peripheral-obsessed aim gods in the world.
Can I break this? Well, I'll do it outside later.
The TenZ Starlight Pro was one of the most hyped mouse releases of all time. The question is it any good? Okay, so before we start talking about whether or not we heckin' loved this mouse, I wanted to let you all know that we have new merch. Head over to shop.thescore.com and check out all of our super cool esports designs. All right, so where the hell did Finalmouse come from? Well, technically, they've been manufacturing mice since 2014. But it wasn't until the following year that they really began to gain recognition. Their Ergo and Tournament Pro products slowly but surely helped them get their foot in the door. And then they famously partnered up with Scream, giving us this beauty right here.
They talk about my one-taps.
Not everyone bought into the hype though, and some consumers found themselves struggling with some annoying hardware and firmware issues.
Wait, you're long drunk, I'm going to be whatever. I'll just look at
I f***ed up. Why did I jump? My f***ing mouse jumped! God damn, Finalmouse, the new Finalmouse!
So how the hell did Finalmouse go from that to partnering up with Valorant royalty? Well, before I tell the story of the subject of this video, the hallowed TenZ Starlight, I must first discuss Fortnite. You see, back in the summer of 2017, Fortnite took the gaming world by storm. Battle Royales were already dominating viewership on Twitch, but Fortnite was different. It was a new take on the genre, where you didn't just rely on looting and shooting. You could also farm resources and build structures to help protect yourself and give you an edge over your opponent.
Let's go!
And as the meta developed, and players became increasingly cracked at building shit, more and more kiddies started buying and building gaming PCs and entering the fray.
Just try to waste this match. Oh, he's on metal now.
That was dirty.
But all of these Fortnite-obsessed Zoomers looked up to one blue-haired boomer in particular. And when he set out to find a lighter mouse to help with his high-level build battles, the Ninja Air 58 Finalmouse was born.
I originally relied heavily on a lot of like side buttons on the mouse, but I started using this for like a week. I broke down, I had a bad day. I was like, I'm going back. I'm gonna go back to my old mouse. And I literally, I plugged it in for one game, got destroyed because it was too heavy, took it, threw it out, put it back in, and I've never looked back. I literally use this every single day to game, man. This is what I destroy my enemies with in Fortnite, man. Super essential.
Back then, Ninja was the king of Twitch. He had more than 100,000 subscribers. He was playing Fortnite with celebrities, and the sponsorships were flooding in. Ninja was a household name. Unlike Finalmouse. Sure, Finalmouse did make that Scream mouse back in 2016, but the mouse market was changing. More and more manufacturers were making strides in constructing the lightest mice possible. So this Ninja branded 58-gram dome clicker definitely turned some heads.
Having a light mouse in Fortnite was like pretty good, because I was using a big ass EC2A at the start of Fortnite. Like my aim was really good, but you need like speed, and like it just looks really cool while also being very light. And having a light mouse is just like, it feels like you're moving almost nothing.
As more and more kids began cranking 90s and BMing their opponents in build battles, they realized that speed was king, and that by using a lighter mouse, they could be faster than everyone else on the server. But Finalmouse weren't just getting attention because of the weight of their mice. Their business model was unlike anything we've ever seen from any of the major peripheral manufacturers. Instead of simply putting their products up for sale and hoping for the best, Finalmouse decided that they were going to do exclusive drops with unique colorways, similar to what you'd expect when vying for limited edition sneakers or streetwear. And just like with Yeezys or Off-White Nikes, Finalmouse products eventually became a scalper's dream, boasting insane price tags on a bunch of resale sites. Of course, this was frustrating to those who couldn't get their hands on them before the scalpers did. But for Finalmouse, the limited releases all but guaranteed that every time they came out with a new product, it would sell out within a couple of hours, sometimes even minutes.
Oh, it's sold out. That is, oh, that's sick. That's sickening. Okay, can I get a small?
This trend continued with each of their new products. Finalmouse would release a newer, lighter mouse, and it would sell out. Everyone wanted to be a part of the exclusive drop.
And that's the thing with Finalmouse too, is that they're so limited that you feel like you need to get it or you just won't ever have it.
Finalmouse were killing it, and this meant that they could go toe-to-toe with some of the more established peripheral manufacturers like Razer and Logitech and Zowie. But as hyped up as their products were, they were far from perfect.
I was just disappointed with how they executed, you know, the mouse tension with the clicks and all that. I feel like it felt too heavy. I didn't like that at the price point. They were using Omrons still. It did have a little bit of quality control issues, like a couple of scroll wheels came crooked and all that stuff. So as far as that goes, I was a little disappointed with their first launch.
And yet, in spite of their QA issues, Finalmouse still had clout. They organized exclusive limited edition releases, and some of the biggest esports personalities in the world continued to rock their products. But this past year, Finalmouse secured, arguably, their biggest collaboration yet.
Now, you're in my realm.
The TenZ Starlight Pro was easily among the most hyped mouse releases ever. Finalmouse had already collaborated with big names before, but this time was different. This time, it was TenZ.
They announced the TenZ mouse, and I was like, all right. I mean, shit, TenZ? Hey, TenZ? I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna play like TenZ?
Aside from being one of the biggest faces in all of Valorant, Sentinels' cracked aim demon is known for repeatedly changing up his settings and peripherals. If a new mouse drops, then chances are TenZ will, at the very least, try it. Sometimes even mid-tournament, because he's just built like that. So, as you can imagine, TenZ's name alone had people in the FPS community foaming at the mouth. And to no one's surprise, all 40,000 units of this new magnesium alloy Starlight sold out within a couple of hours. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering why it is that 40,000 people forked over $189 for this weird metal mouse, and if it was worth it. Well, luckily for you, our boy Niall actually managed to get his hands on one. And here's what he had to say.
And now, the guy who actually knows what he's talking about.
All right, don't worry guys, Colten will be back in the next one. I'm just subbing in because I'm the guy who actually tested out the mouse. So I gotta start by letting you know that my primary mouse for the past few years has been the G Pro and more recently the Superlight. I'm not huge on ergo mice and I really enjoy the weight and shape of the Superlight, so it's been my main mouse for a while now. But when I saw that Finalmouse was releasing a new Starlight Pro in collaboration with TenZ, I figured it was finally time to try one out. I purchased the medium size, which is honestly pretty close to the size and shape of the G Pro. The hump on the Finalmouse is only slightly flatter, but otherwise they're pretty similar. I know that some people were expecting the TenZ version to have a bit more of a hump, but it's actually the same shape as the Phantom. The mouse itself looks sleek. You can make out the word Starlight engraved on the edge of the right mouse button, and on the bottom of the mouse, you can check to see which number you received out of the 40,000 that were produced. Mouse 1 and 2 on the TenZ mouse feel good. They're light and fairly quiet, and luckily I didn't get a crooked scroll wheel, but most importantly, here's how the clicks sound. Before I get into my review, I have to mention that I tested it out with the stock skates on an Artisan Hien pad. But to start, I want to talk about the weight, because it was a bit of a shock. I knew that going from a 63 gram mouse to one that's roughly 47 grams was going to take some getting used to, but this thing is insanely light for me. I consistently found myself over-aiming, which I expected, so I began compensating for the lack of weight by lowering my sense. First, I went down from 0.25 on 800 DPI to 0.2. And honestly, this still felt way too fast for me. So then I went and lowered it to 0.175, thought that that was too slow, and eventually found my way to 0.187, which is what I've settled on for the past couple of weeks. I've been able to find more equilibrium, and I'm slowly getting used to the weight of the mouse, but I'll just have to wait and see if I can find that same consistency that I had with the Superlight. More recently, I decided to try out the included Infinity skins. It ships with 3 options, 1.2mm, 2mm, and 2.5mm, which are basically just grips for each side of the mouse. I tried the 2mm ones, but after I played for a while, the right side of my hand started to feel uncomfortable, so I removed the Infinity skin from that side and decided to just rock one on the left side. The Infinity skin feels nice and adds a bit of weight to the mouse, but not enough to make a noticeable difference. Overall, I think it's a great mouse. Historically, Finalmouse products have been the go-to for cracked zoomers, but I think that most people can enjoy this mouse if they can get used to the weight. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. I just can't get used to it. I'm not a Zowie stan who enjoys holding a brick in my hand either, but this thing is just way too lightweight for me.
And that was the guy who actually knows what he's talking about.
And now that the mouse has been out for a couple of months, we've heard other members of the esports community give their opinion as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had an Air 58 back then, and this mouse kind of just, like, it reminds me of that shape, and it's just wireless. I mean, it's good. I like it a lot.
He's 1 HP, 1 HP.
One triple.
One more backside, one backside. I would have never done that without the TenZ mouse, bro. I heckin' love TenZ. Bro, I love TenZ. I said it.
The TenZ Starlight Pro is absolutely a very high quality product. It might be made for a select group of gamers, but you can tell that Finalmouse have listened to the community with this one. They've built a mouse that even some of their most vocal critics can respect.
So they started listening to community feedback and all that. And I think when I got my TenZ, I can say that the quality is actually there now. For like $180, I think the quality is really there.
When it comes to gaming peripherals, it's all a matter of preference. Right now, for instance, I've actually gone back to rocking my ZA11B since I found that the 72g C was actually just a tad too light for me. That said, if what you're looking for is an extremely lightweight, high-quality gaming mouse, then the TenZ Starlight Pro might just be for you, if you can get your hands on one.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique, bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.